Welcome, my name is Rich, and this is a laid-back Let's Play of Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, wherein I shall play the game at a relaxed sort of pace, where I won't try and rush. I'm also not going to be going for a completionist run, to say nothing of the fact that the game seems to be slightly bugged in some areas, such that you can't actually fully complete some bits. Fully completionist runs aren't my thing, and so I won't be doing one. I will be talking about the areas of the game that I like or dislike, places I think the game could have been better, or places I think are fine. I will also make jokes at the expense of the game, snarky comments, point out grammar issues. Occasionally there are grammar issues in the written elements of the game. Sometimes there are plot holes, or what feels like plot holes. I might not. It might just be me not picking up on something that should be clear to other, or that would be clear to other people. What's this chap doing? Okay. Do you need to walk past me? Kind of looking at me and then off in your patrol? Is that necessary? Since last time, I have made myself a pair of Dreadscale gauntlets, gloves. Because I happened upon a couple of pairs of Dreadscale gloves, and I broke them down and built something that I actually wanted to use. Still waiting on getting Dreadscale legs or Prismere plate helmet or boots, but oh well. So the next thing that I'm going to do, I have completed the Red Marches, and I did that last time. I also did Cloud Crest. So the next thing for me to do is go to Adessa, which we will do now. As I said previously, this really feels like a section where they perhaps had intended to put a voiceover, just a short bit of voiceover, and weren't able to. Or maybe some music, a piece of music that would be unique to the area. Unless there is music, and we can't hear it because I turned off the music when I was playing this, so as that before I started playing this, so as that we wouldn't have music competing with my voice. Options, audio, music volume off. Okay, so maybe there is music, but I haven't got it playing so that it's not competing with my voice whilst I'm trying to talk. Is that an area we visit? I feel like it is. I feel like that scaffolding around here. Oops. Local map. Why did it think that I wanted to... The Isles. Why did it think that I wanted to fast travel somewhere? I think these are the Isles that we're looking at down here. Directly in front of us. Because there is a boundary location here. Senna Bruges. Someone waiting for me, I assume?
Hold right there, newcomer. I welcome you to Adessa, but before you enter, I must catalogue your visit. Please answer the questions as truthfully as possible. It's imperative that our tallies be accurate. Now, what brings you to Adessa?
To bring down one of your Templars.
Excuse my rudeness. I am Senar Bruges, Tallier second class to the Domus Politica. My purpose is to sort those that come to Adessa, to welcome them to the city while maintaining the delicate balance we gnomes have achieved.
How delicate a balance is it that every visitor needs to be bureaucratically logged?
They help sort the newly arrived in the city. We want to ensure that everyone is placed where they properly belong.
And how exactly... What criteria do you use to determine where people properly will belong?
Yes, well, at least you look more put together than some of the people that came here before you. Poor sods. With any luck, your errands go without incident. Now, where have you come to Adessa from?
From Fomerus Hughes' lab. I mean, I guess I could say anywhere. I've been all over Western Amalur. I could say Rathir. I could say Issa.
For Morris Hughes? You mean to say you've come from Alistar? Yes, I see it now. They were wrong about your nose, but you match the description of the one I was to look out for. We can dispense with the remainder of my questions. You are free to enter Adessa. Sandstone Villa will serve as your lodgings. Temporarily. This is rare, newcomer. Very rare. If I can speak frankly, I'm not sure this is the blessing you take it to be. True, you have been saved from the squalid lodgings of the Hospitalis quarters. But Sandstone Villa is reserved for... well, it is not my place to speak of it. This key will provide you with access to the villa. You would do well to be very aware of your surroundings, stranger. Now, good day.
Why might I be attacked suddenly? That never happens to me. I've got no idea how to deal with that.
Yes, you are now officially recorded as having entered Adessa, center of all gnomish society in the Feylands.
So does that imply that gnomish society has other centres? Obviously not in Cluricon or Alabastra, because we never see any gnomes, or certainly no gnome cities over there, or even any kind of a gnome establishment. But does this imply that the gnomes have centres elsewhere?
The Domus Politica has me tallying and sorting all new arrivals to the city. Another few years and I could be Tallier, first class.
It's good to have aspirations, I suppose.
The Domus is where all of Adessa's political work is done. The Templars determine the policy, and it is there that we enact it. And not everyone is given a villa just for arriving here. But I'd be careful. A gifted necklace can easily be a golden chain.
Yes. I assume that being a golden chain is a cultural reference that I just don't get. I mean, maybe the chain part is the specific intended significant part. Hey, welcome, Digital Seahorse. Glad to have you.
Yes, yes, go on.
Thank you. I was clearly stopped by you along this busy thoroughfare. I've just entered the gnomish city in the Feylands of Adessa, which is down at the south end here. This is the last area I have to explore before we can move on to moving from Rathir to Melsenshire, to the Wintercourt lands. Where do I have to go? So this is Sandstone Villa, the place I've just been gifted access to. Adessa Prison, probably want to avoid that. Arcadium, and speak with Templar Joriel. This place might be bigger physically than Rathir, or at least roughly similar size.
Bohm of Bowstrings doesn't do much, but I hear he'll teach anyone the arts of stealth.
if he's good enough at stealth to teach anyone, then how would you know what he gets up to? Hi, welcome, nomads. Also, it's quite a nice city, really. Seems as though it's still under construction. The thing about Adessa being the home of the gnomes in the Feylands suggests to me that, well, along with a few other things that have been said during play, suggests to me that the Adessa is not like the home city of the gnomes. This is just where they've set up here. Other things about Motus mining, digging the stone to, or quarrying the stone to build Adessa from Upper Tier, and the other regions within the last sort of 10 or 20 years, the last few decades certainly, implies to me that this is a relatively recent build, and that
Yes.
this is not the homeland of the gnomes. Wow, lots of boxes to destroy here, eh?
Yes.
Grand Bursars, stealth, hospitalis quarters, laboratories. Huh, both of these lead to the Isles. Okay. They're, where are they tossing the dirt, exactly? Just spreading it over the stone cobbles.
What now?
Instead of doing something useful with it, like
Salutations.
piling it into perhaps a wheelbarrow and then carting it somewhere else. No, just toss it over the shoulder. That's fine.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Yes.
Javat Pool.
Well, well, well. It seems you found the city beyond the walls of Sandstone Villa. Taking it all in, I see.
Indeed.
Were the city a body, that would be its brain. The Basilica is both an academy and a shrine to the fires of enlightenment. I'm doing a number of studies in the art of animating inert objects through magical induction. Have you taken an interest in it as well as the Templars? The scholars are dedicated to advancing the corpus of gnomish knowledge. We are based in the Basilica Nostra, in the Isles. Usually they are too busy dealing with political matters to bother me, but not recently. Goodbye.
Don't know why that is called the Isles. I mean, maybe it's because it's sort of... Okay, so that tower is built on a stone outcrop in the bay, I guess. But the rest of it seems sort of like a Venice type construction where it's just sunken. They've sunk pillars into the bay and they're building a platform on it. So I don't know that calling it the Isles, like plural, really makes that much sense. But I haven't investigated in detail. It's a super duper Roman sort of costume, isn't it? Purple instead of red detail. Although, to be fair, I don't really know that much about typical colouring for Roman gear. And also this is a fantasy universe, so they can colour it whatever they like. But that's very, very Roman looking.
Greetings.
Thank you. We are allowed to visit the Isles. That's nice. Oh, there's a quest down here.
What?
So, maybe there are several of these sandstone outcrops. Yeah, okay. I don't know that you would really say that they are big enough to be accused of being islands, though. That seems a bit of a stretch. What's this? Livrarium? Oh yeah. Basilica Nostra. We had a quest from Ironfast to deliver a package, didn't we? And the forum.
What?
I'd completely forgotten about that quest.
What?
Is there something about me that's just a bit mystifying? So there are at least four of these sandstone outcrops. But if I recall correctly, ancient Rome would probably not be purple unless it's the royalty. Yeah, that's my feeling.
Yes.
Purple was for a very, very long time. Hey, he's got a steel longsword that's been resized for gnomish use. For a very long time, purple was one of the most difficult colours to create a dye for, so that it could be used to colour objects, whether that's clothes or, as paint. Purple and blue. Blue perhaps a little bit more so, because that's where the term blue blood comes from. It's where they're so rich and hoity-toity, their blood might as well be coloured blue, because sort of probably like 15th century, pre-15th century, the only way that you could get blue colouring was to grind up lapis lazuli, which is a semi-precious stone. It's only mined in a few areas, and so yes, blue and purple, royal colours, because they're very, very difficult to acquire and use. So typically you would only find people dressed in purple if they were very, very wealthy. Like, it would be an immediate indicator that they had access to a huge amount of wealth. Some lovely emojis in the chat there, thank you. So seeing a character, just a standard issue, well, he's probably not a standard issue guard, he's probably like a pretty special, unique kind of, like, maybe there's only 100 or several hundred of them. Wasn't aware of the blue blood origin. Yep, just a random piece of information that has made it into my head. So, like, maybe they're the equivalent of the Imperial Guard, even if there isn't an Emperor of the Gnomes, and you would probably not expect to find the Emperor of the Gnomes in Adessa in the first place, if there are other centres of gnomish culture in the world, and Adessa had only been built like 20 years ago, perhaps 30. You probably, like, the Emperor would probably visit occasionally, but you wouldn't expect him to be in residence here unless there was some kind of major enemy of the gnomes that he or the ruler, emperor or empress, felt they needed to live nearer to so that they could respond more quickly. I mean, that's what happened with Rome and the Roman Empire. It was the capital was in Italy for a long time, but then it was moved to Carthage, I think. Constantinople? No, Carthage is wrong. It was moved over to the Middle East or the Near East. And then half of the Roman Empire fell, the western half, which is what we think of when we say the Roman Empire fell. But the Roman Empire actually continued. It wasn't really Roman anymore because it wasn't centered around Rome. But the organization continued in the Middle East for quite a period. I'm no expert on the history of the period, but this is what I have gleaned over time. They've got quite a nice chandelier there. So, yes, given that Gnomish culture, at least in Adessa, seems to be modelled on Rome, and therefore you could expect to model behaviour of gnomes on Romans, unless there was some kind of major gnomish foe. Like, I mean, I guess that you could say the Crystal War with the Winter Fae probably counts, but I don't know that. I mean, it's only been going on for 15 years, maybe nearly 20. It doesn't feel long enough to have a gnomish emperor or empress decide to move to Adessa. I mean, Adessa is only a decade or so older than the Crystal War itself, I think. Oops. No, I don't want to fast travel. I don't think that's enough time for the emperor or empress, the ruler of the gnomes, to go, yep, I need to move to be closer to that. So you wouldn't really expect to see guards who are like Praetorian guards, who are specifically for guarding the emperor. I mean, I think they are called Praetorian Guard, and I think I have heard that word mentioned in the game, but I can only assume that means is in reference to like a broader cadre level rank of guard that maybe they have a few thousand of that are kind of elite troops, but they're not like so incredibly good that you use them to guard your ruler. Interesting. He's just left some dead bodies lying about. This is probably starting to smell.
Wow,
I imagine.
Look at you.
I imagine that this adds a very particular odor to the room. Okay, that would be stealing. So with that, we'll have a look at it. Linguistics. These assorted writings have been compiled into a rough notebook. Pamphlet on linguistics. A preliminary analysis of the results of my Babylus potion. Well, that's interesting. That's another biblical reference that we've had in the game. When you really shouldn't expect there to be any kind of biblical reference. So, the story of Babel, Babylus potion, is a reference to Babel, the Tower of Babel. According to Christian mythology, Babel was a city, one of the first human cities, if not the first human city. And this was built before language diverged into the hundreds of languages that we've got now. Everyone spoke the same language in Babel because it was the first human city. And in the hubris of the builders of Babel, they decided to build a tower that would lead them to heaven. It would be so tall and mighty that they could climb it to heaven, as though heaven is a physical place that you can access if only you can get high enough. And God, and this is Old Testament stuff, so God's a pissy wanker, and a pissy wanker, I should enunciate. Old Testament God is kind of a drama queen, and very high maintenance, and very, very envious. No, jealous. Jealous is the right word here. Very jealous. And so when the people of Babel were trying to build a tower that would let them get to heaven, God cursed them, not only by destroying the tower and having it collapse and kill masses of people, but also by cursing every person in the city of Babel to speak a different language, so that they could not understand one another and therefore work together on another project as ambitious as the Tower of Babel. So from Babel, we get the Babel fish in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which translates for everyone. And if you are curious, you can look up a Babel fish if you're not already familiar. And this is a book on linguistics and language and translation, presumably. So the results of a Babelous potion imply that it is a potion that allows you to understand many other languages. Maybe it's specifically restricted to one language at a time, or maybe it just allows you to understand, or is supposed to allow you, like a final full version of the Babelous potion is probably supposed to allow you to understand everyone. But I guess we'll find out as we read. My preliminary analysis of the results from my Babelous potion experiments has provided me with a fascinating base from which to draw new hypotheses on the nature of linguistics and the mind's ability to comprehend various tongues. And perhaps most importantly, my analysis has demonstrated the need for additional data, which would require further funding and support from my kind benefactors in the Basilica Nostra. For those scholars who are not aware of the nature of my research, I offer a modest summary. My Babelous potion is intended to grant its users bother complete comprehension. That's probably not supposed to be bother. Babelous potion is intended to grant its users complete comprehension and generation of foreign languages by means of rebalancing the mind's humours. Oh dear. Oh no. They're still on humours. I mean, that's advanced for Roman, but that's still way wrong for how living bodies work. I don't know what bother is doing in this sentence. My test subjects are inoculated with a version of the potion and are then subjected to a brief examination. They are surveyed in a number of tongues and then required to answer in the language of the questions. Oddly enough, while my current formula for the Babelous potion has successfully granted my patient's linguistic comprehension, it has yielded mixed results in terms of language generation. These results are usually triggered in a 3-stage process. In the beginning of the process, most subjects described their ability to speak almost being inverted. Though they sought to generate one sound, their mouth made the opposite. Clearly the humoral mix was somehow substituting the opposite of every letter the patient tried to say. In the middle stage of the process, where the potion was strongest, subjects reported success in generating the sounds they were thinking, but in a different order than how they thought of them. Their mouths jumbled up the answers they meant to give, and in the final stage, when the potion was beginning to wear off, my subjects reported that the previous two phenomena, the substitution of every sound's opposite and the jumbling of sounds, were somehow preventing themselves simultaneously. If only I could find a mind that could untangle these processes while under the effects of the potion, I could get somewhere. Now, there is something of a flaw in certainly his requisition of further funding, in that our character has not had a problem talking to anybody. Whether they be human, Lossalfar, Docalfar, gnome, Fae, Fae of any stripe, Summer Court or Winter. Oh yeah, the guy that we were supposed to go and talk to is up here. Presumably the guy who is doing the language study. Also, the whole thing about humours, if you're curious about humours and medicine, you can look it up, but it's kind of wild and total bunkum.
I've waited so long for these. There are some things you simply cannot do with ordinary blades. Beautiful, exquisite things.
He has acquired some surgical blades. That's lovely for him. They probably look pretty brutal.
The city has no parallel, and it's only half built. I can't even conceive of all the contributions we will make to these lands in learning and policy.
Certainly a certain quantity of arrogance in the gnomes about their ability to contribute things of value. Like, maybe their contributions will be valuable, but they certainly, before they have even started making those contributions, they are certainly very, very confident that everyone will be very pleased.
It is where the greatest minds of the gnomes, the scholars, can determine the underlying rules and laws of existence. From here, our power is born. I got my start doing vivisections in the laboratories. I showed enough knowledge of humoral balance and physiology that I was asked to join the Basilica. My colleagues are always at the forefront of research. I must stay at my best to keep up. Very well.
Oops. I knew that there was a turn, but I forgot that there was a little bit of a corridor. I was distracted by the fact that there was an arrow on the mini-map indicating that there was someone ahead of me, but when I actually got there, they were missing. Looting the desk would be stealing. I expect that these would be stealing also. Who's this?
Perhaps it's time I visit D'Artan's shop again. He's got the best gems in the city, you know.
Cleese Nareen. Nireen.
The Basilica is currently funding more remote experiments than ever before. Why would they do so much work externally? Makes it difficult to keep track of it all.
That is quite a hairdo, isn't it? And then this sort of... I don't want to say it's a headband because it's a bit too ornate for that, and it's not really covering her forehead, but that's a heck of a thing she's got going on with her head.
I've specialised in the study of languages and discourse. Of course, the Basilica sees no end of political applications for my research, so I'm happy to be well funded. Not all the scholars are dedicated to academia. Some, like Ailey Ehrencourt, are put on bureaucratic duties between projects. It's not always ideal. Yes?
That is a very impressive beehive, and it adds probably like half a foot to her height. This section is almost like a cathedral, isn't it?
Blessings to you.
Ah, the lodger from Sandstone Villa. There are many finer spaces of our city to see than those I currently occupy, I assure you. The scholars first found this crater brimming with strange potential. In studying the area, more equipment than people came, until a city was born. It is the product of centuries of learning. Here we distill the experiences of our race into axioms, knowledge that future generations may live by. While my background lies in the study of magical acuity contextualized by race, somehow I ended up being a Basilica liaison to the Domus concerning Fae and Alfar. I see.
You wish to speak?
A lot of purple going on here, isn't there? There's a lot of purple just in general in the city, isn't there? Purple and gold seems to be colours of choice. Or seem to be colours of choice. Seems like a beaten brass door. Probably.
Yes.
Maybe beaten bronze.
What? Well, look at you. Don't seem to be quite as busy as the other humans working the scaffolding. You might be perfect. Listen, stranger, would you like to earn a bit of coin? No sweat off your brow, promise.
I am not here to work the scaffolding. It may surprise you to learn.
Every now and then, the scholars take an assistant from the laboratories in the walls to the Basilica. Right now, that's me. The Basilica is where the scholars of Adessa reside. Not many assistants there besides me, but I manage. The scholars are the most educated gnomes. You could say they are the thinkers of our society.
No one else in here is allowed to think, then.
Lost? The Basilica Nostra is home to Adessa's scholars. The Forum is the center of Adessa, and behind that is Livrarium, Adessa's library. The Consistorium is, well, under construction. Even in its unfinished state, the Forum is a perfection of architecture, a fitting place for the seat of our government. The Livrarium is our storehouse of knowledge. The works of many scholars, sages, historians, and mages can be found within.
I wonder about putting a library over a big pool of water. Surely it would be damp.
I don't know all the details about it. I assist many scholars with their works here. I know that Scholar Naren was involved in linguistics. It's safe to say the experiment will likely be some verbal study. Scholar Naren has quarters in the Basilica Nostra. Speak with her and she'll get you started.
We were actually just there, speaking to her.
You need to speak with Scholar Naren in the Basilica Nostra. She'll tell you what to do.
I presume that we will end up being that singular mind that Naren needs to help her with her potion of Babel.
You wish to speak?
No, I wish to dance.
What?
The game... I know! It's a wild dream. But the game will not let me. There's no chat, and therefore no emote inputs.
Speak.
Who's this?
What?
This is a marvelous city to walk, isn't it? To look down on the crater from the walls, or up at our buildings from the aisles. Truly breathtaking.
What training can she provide? Persuasion. Current skill 4, and she can train me to 6. Templar Montagnol is highly skilled with the persuasion skill. For a fee, you could say highly adept with the persuasion skill. Repeating skill twice. This is one of the grammatical errors that I am talking about with the game. It's not really like a really serious issue, but repeating the same word in the same sentence, well, even in the same paragraph is a bit much, but in the same sentence, like, you could have chosen a different word here. You could have used a very basic thesaurus, a Google search for thesaurus synonyms. For a fee, you can receive training to increase your ability by 1. Advanced trainers can only offer their expertise to customers with a skill level from 4 to 6, who are level 8 and higher.
Be well.
Oh, right, whoops. I didn't ask her questions. I just went straight to what training she can provide.
You are welcome to walk the aisles, but please be respectful. The buildings here house the pinnacles of gnomish society, knowledge and law. This city will be a beacon to all of the other races, to let them know of our artistry, our resilience, and our mastery of knowledge and magic. The art of rhetoric is essential for any Templar to master. And of course, I excel at it more than anyone. But such knowledge is better shared, agreed?
I have a problem with the word, well, the pronunciation of the word rhetoric. I mean, if you ask a question, you don't ask it rhetorically, do you? You ask it rhetorically. The emphasis is on a different syllable. So why this isn't art of rhetoric? I mean, I understand that it was probably Greek, that it's a rhetoric is a Greek loan word, but language is allowed to evolve over time, and you, as I said, all of the other instances, like the alterations around the word rhetoric, are rhetorical. You don't pronounce it rhetorical.
I sponsor many of the scholars of physiology and humoral applications in the Basilica Nostra. With all that's happening, the world will need healers.
And the sooner that you discover that humors are not involved in human health, the better.
The Templars are the leaders of the gnomish people. We are many, and sometimes at odds, but we have the goodness of our people, all peoples, in our heart. Be well.
I guess the Templars are like counselors.
Yes.
With or like members of the Roman Senate. Senators, that's the word. So this would be
Blessings to you.
Rome, but without emperors. I guess. I mean, that should have been clear. No, that would be stealing. Okay. I think I've still got... Thank you. I think I've still got a piece of a gold nugget in my inventory that is marked as stolen, and so I can't sell it as junk unless I find someone who is willing to fence stolen goods. And I keep forgetting about it, and I probably need to go and find like a traveler camp, so a star camp or a sun or moon camp or something like that.
What's needed?
You wish to speak?
Hiccups.
What? What? Need something?
I wonder whether we're allowed in the library. Well, it's got a doorway symbol on the map. Oh, we are. Nice.
What?
So, these bookshelves are very, very tall, considering that gnomes, the main people who use this space, are half my height. And I don't see any ladders around. Now, I realize that in this universe there is magic, and indeed the ability to fly. We do see any mage, not just gnomes. Any mage in a fight, take flight and start hovering. But it usually seems to involve a certain amount of wind, and so What's this? Oh, out onto the scaffolding. Okay. I think this is where we end up coming. Unlock scaffolding, so I'm probably not allowed it through there yet. We end up in a fight with one of the Templars. The one who tried to get us and Fummerus Hughes killed by assassins. Chapter 1, Preliminary Plans. So yeah, I know that mages are capable of flight, or some amount of sustained powered flight, but I think it usually involves wind. But maybe not. I mean, maybe the way to access these higher bookshelves is just to zip up with personal flight abilities and then hover back down. According to the title, this is a chapter from the memoirs of Gaelnon Hegem, the gnomish mason who designed and oversaw construction of most of Adessa. There's an interesting note near the bottom of the page alluding to a treasure he hid somewhere in the city. I'll just steal the book. Oh, this person wearing a full plate helm with small eye holes and a grill for the mouth. Was so intent on their book that they were just walking into this candle. Oh, this is one of the Templars. Can I push him back into walking into one of the... Yes, I can. I can redirect him. Oh, no. Damn. I wonder why the Templar was wearing a... Well, in fact, the helmet looked kind of like a human world Earth Templar helmet, because they had a very kind of like boxy bucket sort of helm during the Crusades, I think. But that's kind of mixing up periods of history. I mean, the Romans with the loricum segmentum, like segmented armor that you see on the guards outside, were hundreds of years before the Crusades.
Well, when I sent O'Dern to recruit subjects, I didn't think I'd find one quite as tall as yourself. But he has done well. In fact, I'd say you make the perfect test case for my newest work.
Why is that?
In so many words, yes. I'm developing a potion vital for future diplomacy. One that will let the user understand foreign tongues. But it requires calibration. Currently, the potion grants universal understanding, but it will not properly permit speech. I will administer a new formula. The spells in my lab shall localize the effects, so I can ask a few questions of you in various tongues.
Sure.
Yes. Now, I will just administer the potion and we can begin. Yes? If you can understand what I am saying, please tell me my name.
That's presumably in a different language.
Very good. Very good indeed. I'm going to try a different language now. See if you can understand it. Tell me, where can I find the Court of Summer?
I seem to have managed to get the first answer correct by accident. And now I kind of want to get the rest of it right. So I'm going to look up the correct answers on the wiki. In case this is one of the few occasions that completing the quest means it's locked entirely and you can never do it again. So, yeah, the first answer was bottom right in Reckoning. Re-Reckoning is different, apparently. Is a reverse cipher. Your name is Clea Snoreen. And I guessed it because it seemed like it was maybe... The structure might be... certainly of the last two words seemed to be... a name, and then apparently the second one is an anagram. Foreshed is a Fornay is a shed gent, is an anagram of in the gardens of Issa.
This is rather remarkable progress. We've covered much more ground than my other subjects. Now, I am not quite as versed in the language of the Jotun as I really need to be for this, but I'll attempt to ask my final question anyways. There is an army of Fae named the Tuatha. Tell me, where are they from?
And the correct answer for this one is Izgoi, a reverse cipher and anagram of Alabastra.
Well done. That was more successful than I'd ever hoped. The potion should begin wearing off completely by this point. I want to go record this data. I'm happy for your assistance. Here, take these potions for your trouble, and thanks again. Yes?
So despite the fact that humours do not feature in any kind of correct understanding of humanoid biology,
Yes.
the creation of a Babel potion
Be quick.
still was successful. Somehow. And we have just helped to further that research. Now, hopefully she will stop thinking in terms of humours, and hopefully the research she has conducted with us will help in that. Hello, who are you?
Hello? Oh. Well, it seems you're not here for work, based on how the gnomes seem to be treating you. What can I do for you?
I don't know, you're waiting outside my home. Why don't you tell me what you're here for?
Most humans in Alpha feel like there's no opportunity here, but somehow I've managed. Same with the merchants in the markets and in the Arcadium. I lead the construction efforts in the Isles. The gnomes draw up the plans, of course, but I am the one that realizes them.
So you're the foreman.
Best tread softly, stranger. These are the gnomes' prized grounds. They barely let me build the place. Be seeing you.
Who's dying nearby? Who are you?
What? I got enough things on my mind, stranger, without dealing with the inquiries of a busybody.
Well, I'm just curious about why you're dying.
The gnomes call this a place of enlightenment, but it comes at the cost of sympathy for wretches like us. A dark and dingy place. Don't know how, but the gnomes managed to take one of these grand buildings and turn it into an eyesore. Not much left to claw out of the dirt in Detir, so I came here with my husband Esclad to try and make a living. Either that or starve. My damn fool of a husband. Thought the gnomes wouldn't punish a man who is desperate from hunger, but he was wrong. Yes, off with you.
Obviously not that hungry if you've got enough energy to groan. Constantly. Constant groaning. Just non-stop, practically. Oh. Little flowers. Nice. And they've got the swirls on them that mark them as being fey flowers. Which shouldn't be a surprise.
At your service.
I mean, this whole area seems to be Phelan's. I bet the dude down there with the exclamation mark over his head is, his quest is going to be about upgrading the place. Ooh, a pool that I'm not allowed in. I bet, well, I won't try it because that is a bit crass, but I bet they won't even let you in if you take off all your equipment so that your character is essentially wearing as little as possible. Not naked, because they do have underwear on, but wearing as close as possible to being suitable gear for being in a pool of water. Oh, nice, you've got me a peasant's tunic. And another peasant's tunic in a separate armoire. Very fancy. Wonder if anyone's played the game through wearing only peasant gear. Maybe she recently had gene therapy. Just peasant's gear again. I'm not quite sure what the recently had gene therapy was in response to. I'm afraid I wasn't checking chat as often as perhaps I should have been, but was it in reference to Noreen? Oops, didn't mean to do that. Oh, we've got our stash here, and let me guess, peasant gear. Oh, and some gold, but yes, I was correct, peasant's tunic. There we go. I have a rather nice double bed. I don't know who they're expecting me to have over, but okay. On chickens. That's a very important book to have. A book studying the nature of the common chicken and why they are magnets for chakrams. Part the first. The chicken is the silent titan upon whose back Amalur sleeps. Universally adapted as a staple in any kitchen of means, the chicken has proven its ability to thrive anywhere with minimal tending. Why then have so few of us learned folk devoted a tome, or even at least a passage or mention, to the noble animal? I aim to correct that now. I will conduct an unflinching and holistic analysis of the jungle fowl commonly referred to as chicken. And like any sane practitioner of science, I will begin my study with an anatomy of the graceful creature and its behaviour. The most prominent feature of the chicken is, of course, its comb, colloquially known as a scab ridge or Mitharu's mistake. This floppy mantle of flesh is actually referred to in learned circles as the grossia major in roosters and grossia minor in hens. Many have puzzled over the purpose of these growths, with many attributing them to some tool for communication. But that makes little sense. Do not chickens need to communicate? why don't they have little Grossier majors and minors as well? Oh, chicks need to communicate. Why don't they have little Grossier majors and minors as well? No, the chicken's comb is far more likely a vestigial rest that used to be used in fending off predators and navigating their original habitats, oceans. Notice how the folds and contours of these growths resemble the fins of aquatic fauna. It is no coincidence. BRB earplugs time. Neighbour is being a git again. Oh, that's a shame. When you said she sounds ill. Oh, okay. Wow, this person was heading in an interesting direction. Certainly they seem to be reasonable people. Making valid observations. And then coming to chickens' original habitats being oceans. Simply because the combs somewhat resemble fins on aquatic fauna. There are not only physical characteristics that chickens are reputed for. The chickens, specifically roosters, are reputed for the diligence they employ when signalling the start of the day. While the degree to which they participate in this behaviour is somewhat exaggerated, these reports are based in truth. Roosters are eager to announce the start of every new day, but this behaviour goes unexplained. Perhaps they are relishing the opportunity to mate for another day. Perhaps they have an affinity for Helios, god of the sun. In the end, it is unknown. The most valuable commodity of the chicken is, of course, its eggs. They are a lifeblood for the peasants and noblemen of Amalur alike, for it is their nourishment that gets us through the days and evenings. But why do chickens lay eggs in such quantities? Is it to ensure that at least some offspring survive? Instead, I believe that chickens have behaviourally altered their eggs, egg-laying physiology, colloquially known as an ovipositor matricula. That's not a colloquial name. Ovipositor matricula, to produce a surplus of offspring as a means of raising their race's global population. No doubt the beasts flourish in captivity, but they desire the freedom of their wild ancestors. It must be their hope, then, that drives them to flood the world with their kind, to the point where ownership becomes meaningless and they are set free. He's the author of this, who I have to assume is male, because men are the only ones who write such stupid things in scientific journals. I feel like he's ascribing a little bit too much to the mental capacity of chickens. Anyway, what a wild thing to find. I mean, assuming that evolution in this world takes the same path as it did in our world, if you go back far enough, technically it is correct to say that chickens are descended of aquatic beings. But that's only if you account for the separation of millions of years. I suppose it's quite big, isn't it? We've got a bedroom, and this was up the stairs, a room just with a pair of dressers. Oh no, this was the pair of dressers. I don't know what... Oh yeah, there was a pool, like a bath. I don't know if I went up here. But there's also all of this. So, like, this place is huge. It's like got a couple of wings to it, hasn't it? It's obviously not complete yet. Hello. Spirit Wave Shoes I don't have any use for, but a Master Damaging Fulcrum and Cloudy Protection Shard I do. Thank you. Very nice. So this would lead upstairs, except obviously they haven't finished construction. Oh good, it wasn't an invincible box. That looks like they haven't quite finished putting in a statue of a gnome. Even though the plinth that the gnome is on is partially obstructed, it seems like it's partially obstructing. Yeah, it is. Partially obstructing several of the big long windows. Like, why would you build in such incredible, like, long stained glass windows and then cover up a quarter to a third of them with a stone plinth? It does not need to be as tall as it is. Like, you could just have that circular section as the plinth on which the statue stands. Like, you don't need this huge, like, more than human height block of walling that you've built in place there. Yeah, I'm hoping that the quest that we can pick up from the dude by the entrance is to expand this place and finish the construction. No, it was the other side, wasn't it? That I hadn't been upstairs in. Just want to get this place fully explored. Oh, there's a bridge. Lovely. Oh no, we had been in here. And just peasant stuff. Okay, right. Yes, we crossed over the bridge, didn't we? I forgot about that. I was so distracted by the aquatic chickens.
Milo at your service.
Level 20, down the path still. Oh, cool. Making a lot of progress then.
You.
Well, that was a bit of a sneery you, wasn't it?
So, you're the one that's come from Alistar. I've waited more than a while for you to show up.
I was busy.
I'm Bruton, Decanus Bruton of the Praetorians. I've been stationed here for your protection.
I don't need your help, but thank you. Oh, he doesn't have a quest to expand the place. That's a shame.
The city, our leadership, the Templars, don't see eye to eye. They have separate allegiances and conflicting motives, and it seems like you're in the middle of them. I'm Decanus of the Praetorians. I've been ordered to keep you safe within the city, which would admittedly be easier without someone breathing down your neck.
Am I breathing down your neck? Is that what you're saying? Is this how it feels to you? I just came and said hello. Also, I don't need your help, but thank you. You'd be amazed at the things I've killed.
In Adessa, wars are fought with papers and politics. And if you're being watched, that means somewhere, someone wants something. Quite the palace for an outsider. No offense. But this gilded collar of yours has a long chain. If I were you, I'd find out where it leads, before it becomes a noose.
I don't know what anyone expects to be able to do to someone like me.
Gnomes don't have kings or mayors or theocrats. There's a caste whose sole duty it is to lead the rest of us. Though it can lead to turmoil, sometimes. I won't lie to you, Longlegs. You being housed here is because someone wants to keep an eye on you. I don't even know who it is. But I can tell you one thing. A gnome who keeps secrets in this city isn't up to anything good. Better to track them down before you or anyone else gets hurt. Luckily, looks like I'm not the only one that noticed your arrival. Got some letters here from the other concerned parties. Could be some leads.
Don't know why my character insists on asking the same question over and over again, but...
Decanus ain't my name. It's my rank among the city's Praetorians. And it's what's keeping you safe.
False.
My orders come from high, that's all I know. You ask me, only a Templar is the kind of pull to set you up here. Good luck trying to learn any more than that. If a Templar wants to remain anonymous, they have the influences to pull it off. Because someone important enough in this city said you needed it. You're being watched. Either you charm someone high up or you piss them off. Either way, they don't want you on your own.
How do I know you're not involved in keeping an eye on me?
Hey, and here they are. Talking with any of their authors should get you in the right direction. I won't lie to you. I'm sticking my neck out here helping you the way I have. But I won't stand to let any one gnome ruin the greater good of my people. Need anything else, talk to Milo. He's been stationed as your retainer while you stay in the villa.
How are you putting your neck out for me by keeping my letters and then handing them to me when I arrive? That doesn't seem like that difficult a thing to do.
Who should I know? It was addressed in sign. I just checked for poison and all that. Just track down whoever wrote them. You do know how to read, right? That might be useful.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
do you know how to swing that sword?
Milo at your service. Greetings, Master. I am Milo. I am here to manage the household affairs of Sandstone Villa, should you have any need of my services.
Yeah, first of all, quit it with the master stuff. That's not something I have any interest in.
The city is yours to explore, should you wish. The amount of freedom you are allowed is not normally granted to outsiders.
Which probably explains why I can just wander in through any door I happen to find.
As preparation for managing this household, I attended some of the humoral and physiological dissertations of Vian Severus. He's quite the healer. And now, so am I. I am a servant and the manager of Sandstone Villa. I also have some knowledge of the medical arts, should you require them.
Cool, thank you. I assume that his presence here might be an indication that I need to worry about being poisoned or cursed.
Hello?
What? What do you want? Oh, that's the Adessa prison. My home is right next door to the prison. Interesting. Let's go into the Arcadium, which, despite it being dawn, I think we're at dawn now, is open for business.
Yes?
I assume that these are here for gnomish patrons.
Welcome.
Oh, right, humans. Sometimes humans use these desks. And I suppose putting these in is easier than making the counters small enough for gnomes to use. Because if that was the case, then humans would have a problem bending down for them all the time.
Good.
It's a great little accessibility touch that they included. I really like it. Makes it feel like the place could be used. What's on this bookshelf? Tome of Artifacts. Alright, okay, we've already read that.
Good tidings.
chucking around a pair of enormous
Yes?
flaming Prismere chakrams to break some
Shopping for books?
pottery, and he goes, "Good tidings." Okay, so there are no quests in here. That's what I was mainly looking for.
Yes?
The guards are generally pretty aggressive about accosting you, aren't they? Right, what do you want? Okay, great. Sorry for
Yes?
walking near you. Didn't realise that was such an insult. Okay, so there's someone to talk to in there. What this is? Oh yeah, the Grand Bursars. Okay, let's investigate in here. Ooh, there's a quest. That's interesting. There's a set of steps for the desk, the main desk, the reception desk, but not for this working desk. So like this is chest height on him. Imagine coming up to a workstation that's at chest height that you have to like get your arms up on before you can even like try and write, but then you're at the wrong angle, completely the wrong angle for reading what you've written. So you'd have to like hold the stuff up and then put it down and write. You know, you'd have to be like this, wouldn't you? Bit of a lack of design foresight there. You could have... I mean, you've got this as an asset in the game. You could just add another one, put it here. So this poor bugger doesn't have to stand with his arms up around his ears just to use the desk.
Yeah, this won't do. This won't do at all. Profits haven't been up since... Oh, yeah, excuse me. You're the courier, yes? Good. You're early. We can begin at once.
I mean, sure, I'll just take whatever it is that you hand me and have off with it, I guess. That's fine.
Many have sought shelter from war within our walls. We have offered what we can to these outsiders, who built the city in exchange. I am the head clerk of Motus Mining's home office. Was so important, the Bursars even gave me a chest in their vault.
He's here representing Motus Mining.
Though privately controlled, we're significant enough to be integrated into several municipal services. The Bursars finances our expeditions now. The walls are the centre of Adessa's labours. Every gnome gladly dedicates his or her life to the furthering of our great civilization. Why, they delivered it to the Motus Mining branch office in the Hollowlands. Now it seems we've misplaced our copy, so you'll have to reclaim the handbook from our old headquarters in Apotir. I need someone to go to the Motus headquarters in Apotir and recover a handbook, then deliver it to the Motus headquarters in the Hollowlands.
Okay, I mean, that's easily enough done.
Good. Should go to the old Motus mining offices in Apotir. Once you've found the book, bring it to a poor Vire.
I can just fast travel all of that.
I need a courier to go to the closed Apotir branch of Motus Mining and recover the branch handbook. Then, take it to Motus Mining's new branch office in the Hollowlands. Simple enough, isn't it?
Sure.
Fine.
And whilst I'm out doing that, I will try and remember to also have a look for the rest of the... no, it's not this. Motus Mining records. I've got 2, but I'm missing 2. Oh yeah, and I haven't completed life's work either. Some of these just never go away. They're constant, like gathering flames and status symbols and rogue harvest. They just stay in your quest log endlessly. But this and well, Life's Work should be completable. Lyria's Lost apparently should be. I think there are 8 of the relics to bring to the Temple of Lyria, although last time I was doing anything to do with that, Mar Hawkman mentioned that one of the 8 of the relics is apparently entirely unfindable, which means that you can't complete the quest, at least in Reckoning. I don't know about re-Reckoning. Hopefully they'd have fixed that. Dangerous Games. When you're talking to Lenus Davril, who gives you the quest, it implies through the language of the responses that you can give and like the conversation that you can complete it and hand it in and stop doing it. But the game doesn't allow you to. The game is absolutely devoted to the idea of you constantly going around and killing an endless number of kobolds, Krodok, Etin, and Jotun, and completing it and going back to Lena's Davril just resets it. It doesn't get the flasks out of your inventory. I don't think that they take up inventory slots, but if they do, that kind of really badly sucks. I haven't noticed. Animal meat is just constantly ongoing, and it's the quest doesn't specify, but the only meat that ever drops is rat meat, and it drops once you get dinner time. The quest, rat meat will drop from any rat anywhere that you kill at 100% drop rate, so it will always drop from rats. You can't get animal meat from bears or gazelles or wolves or any other kind of, like chickens. You would think you could get meat from chickens that are running around and you can accidentally kill or deliberately kill if you feel like it. But no, just rats. I have one last place to find a reagent planting location. Deliver death notices. Tack Edstar is in Melson Shear, I think, so we're going to have to wait on that. Paper trail, find the second chapter. Gaelnon, Hagum, Mason and Architect. Oh, right, yes, okay, so I really just recently picked that one up. Meet with a contact. That's also a thing that we picked up today. Lost Handbook, and that's the final bit. That's the one we just picked up like a few minutes ago. I'm holding off on the hero and the maid until my dispelling is top tier, so that I absolutely definitely will be able to free the other people. Daemolin, Queen Belmaid, and King Wenson. I accidentally killed Sir Ferrara before I realised that it should be possible to free them with dispelling, and that my dispelling wasn't quite high enough. So we have lost Sir Ferrara, unfortunately. And I couldn't even go back and redo all the stuff I'd done up to the point that I made that mistake, because I had saved over the save, unfortunately. And we're just doing this stuff now, so hopefully I will find some other quests to pick up whilst we're here in Adessa.
Keep your hands to yourself.
What's wrong with my hands?
Here.
They're fine hands. Ah, this is some kind of vault. Definitely not allowed to
What?
stick my hands in any of these. That would get people super upset.
Don't tarry here.
And I don't really know how I would go about stealing anything from any of them. Like, you would probably need a major distraction. Huh, that one's open. Yeah, all of these are, all of these would be stealing. Oh, and there's more, there's another vault. It's not, well, okay, so first I was thinking, this isn't a terribly efficient use of space. But, on the other hand, my stash is about the same physical size, perhaps a little bit bigger, and it contains over 100 items, some of which are very large weapons.
What?
Or things like suits of, well, not complete suits of armor. I haven't actually got a complete set of any one set of armor yet.
Keep your hands to yourself.
But upon consideration, it makes a certain amount of sense that you'd be able to fit quite a lot of things, more than should physically be able to fit inside any of those any of those chests. The only thing is, they could be more efficient with the number of chests that they have in that space. Like, they could have a ledge above one of the chests and have a second chest above it. I would probably require like a stepladder or something, but that would be easy enough to create for the game.
Yeah? Plenty else I need to worry about now. What are you needing?
What's your story?
There's enough to this city left to be built that I wonder if it will ever be finished. But if it does, it will stand for years.
I've got the music from the inn coming from my right ear, but the way that we're facing, it should be on the left of me and on his right, so it should be over there, over here, which means that the sound is coming from the wrong direction.
Just another laborer trying to scrape a living for themselves in this damn city. Plenty of work to do.
Now it's kind of correct. Like, now it feels like it's coming from over here, but when the camera is facing Halloween Ore,
Gnomes are strange folk. Ain't no homes in these buildings. They work where they sleep where they work. Makes no sense to me.
oh, so in that way they're a bit like Japanese at black companies.
Back to work.
That's a bit unfortunate. Huh. It was playing music like this is a tavern, but this doesn't remotely seem like a tavern to me. Adessa citizen, okay. Bottom of the bowstrings. Oh right, he's the one who can teach stealth, isn't he?
Merchant ain't no trader. Got no coin, got no bread. So what are you needing out of me?
He can give me stealth training if I needed it.
Things used to be better here. Now Apatier's looking like the better option, thanks to you. I heard what you did. Thanks.
Ah, so he knows about Whitestone.
I hear you helped start cleaning it up. I'm sure you have the people's thanks for that. Used to do a tour or two as an archer with some mercenaries. They turned to banditry and I just turned to ale. Ain't the sandstone villa from what I hear. But I've slept in worse places, I can promise you that. Ain't good at much, but I don't need to be noticed if I ain't looking to be. For a bit of coin, I can teach anyone to be the same.
Oh, our stealth isn't quite beyond his ability to teach. That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't think that we needed to be, but yeah, even adding another point wouldn't earn us anything, any new abilities. That increases us. but not that. What's this? Epic gems. Always succeed when forcing average locks. Traps can be disarmed and salvaged for components. I wonder what that actually gives us. Like, you can't craft traps. You, there is an ability. Oh, no, not. Oh, that opens skills. Okay. I thought that the hotkey opened these abilities. But no. You can put down traps. What's blade honing? Critical hit damage, sustained costs 15% mana. That's quite a lot. Razor sharp blades of your weapons cut into your foes with ease. While this ability is active, critical hit damage for long swords, daggers, fey blades, and great swords is substantially increased. But not chakrams, unfortunately. Even though they have blades on them. So you can place frost traps, but I don't think that... I mean, this requires almost no investment into finesse. So, like, the level at which you get frost trap would be way, way before you get the level, get to the level where you can start breaking down traps for components. So, I think it's fairly obvious that you would never be needing trap components to make traps.
I see you.
Well done. You are capable of observation. Apparently these are very naughty chickens who are in chicken jail. But there are other chickens that are just fine, who we don't need to worry about. One chicken visiting their criminal chicken friends or relatives.
What's needed?
Need to get rid of all these crates!
Aye? Yeah? We've no clean mugs and no clean beds. There's no tavern business running today.
Oh, this is a tavern, okay.
Nice to have a peaceful place in this desert. Got bandits raising hell in Apatir.
Not anymore.
Jotun in Menethir.
Not anymore.
Just great stretches of nothing in the Hollowlands.
That's still the same.
Half of the poor folks in this place can't wipe their own asses after a day of work. My swill's the only thing that keeps them smiling half the time.
What do you put in it? Desert cactus?
The rat's den of Adessa, if ever there were one. Few joys we outsiders can afford. So I keep the swill cheap as I can.
I only had one piece of junk. Alright, fair enough. What does she have? Oh, she's got loads of weapons, but none of it terribly good. You would think that they'd have some Prismere weapons and armor. I mean, they've got Prismere weapons and armor in... Ooh, lockpicks. I need lockpicks. In Rathir. But no.
Good.
None of that in Adessa. Bit of a shame, really. This is a... Well, that looks a bit... Like, it looks like walking across there would be a bit... Oh, damn it, hiccups. Dicey. Like, that looks reasonably supported. Like, I feel okay walking across this. But... this just looks like it's a seesaw. What is stopping the wood from just going whoop when someone stands over here? Oh, you can't get any further than this. Your character knows instinctively that they should not walk any further. Reddle's office. Who is it that's dying loudly?
Yeah? Hmm?
Always happy to see a new face. Been some time since we've had a new arrival.
Criminal foul play. Chicken crimes. Yep. I mean, they've got chickens wandering around loose. Why do they need a chicken pen that they keep a couple of chickens in? Clearly, they are criminal chickens.
Adessa is different from Rathir. Everything about this city is planned, all its details already known. Rathir was built so haphazardly, it'd keep surprising you.
No, it wouldn't. Rathir's tiny.
Most don't want to live here, but we Wiles have been refugees since the Tuatha first attacked. We're just happy to stop running. I know how to make a door open when it doesn't want to, if that's what you're asking. Pretty useful in a city with a few secrets. I came to Adessa with my brother Harrod and my sister Gwenfir. We were only children when we had to flee the fires of war, but here we are. Wretched curs, all of them. If it weren't for my siblings, I'd be fighting them even now. So long.
It's good to know where he is. Not that I really intend to make use of his services. Someone over here is having a real bad time.
Yes. Haven't seen you around. New to the quarter? Been sick so long I haven't seen anyone new in a while. I'm just happy that for once in our lives, Ara and I no longer have to keep running. There's a place for us to wait, to rest, to recoup. Just another refugee of this horrible war. Ara and I were the only ones from my village that got out safely. Lost everything in that war. Lost our parents, our farm. All I have left is my sister Ara, and I'm just a burden on her now. We had to start a new life for ourselves here, but soon after we arrived, I got sick, and Ara had to support me.
And the game doesn't let us do anything about that situation at all, except perhaps enter NPC killing mode and kill her. Like, we can't... Why tell us about it if we can't give her 100 gold to get treated? Like... Oh, hey, it's a job board. This looks like it might be chicken hangout zone. Like, it would have taken half an hour to add, or less probably, to add in an option with talking to Cirrus to just like offer to give her a certain amount of money to go and get healed. No, I'm not going to kill the chicken. I don't need to kill the chicken. That's needless. Ooh, there's 3 quests. Though the Longboard enjoys independence from the jurisdiction of Adessa, it relies on divine and local providence to deal with threats and problems. To all passers-by that can help, please answer these petitions. Redistributing wealth, delivering a message, righting a wrong. The human and alpha merchants of the Arcadium are... I'm surprised this isn't capitalized, although, I mean, human isn't, but... Okay. Merchants of the Arcadium are respected and affluent figures in the city, but they refuse to aid their twice, okay, that is unnecessary, brothers and sisters in the hospitalis quarters with charity or cheaper custom. Please, would some kind soul convince them to have pity on the poor and meek? Ablier will see the kind soul rewarded. So this isn't... So redistributing the wealth isn't about stealing from the wealthy and giving it to the poor, which really only solves the problem for a short term until you spend the money. This is actually a much more reasonable means of addressing the problem, wherein you talk to the people and see whether they'll be willing to give services cheaper. Delivering a message. I mean, in the grand scheme of things on Earth, with the 1% versus the 99% in terms of like people possessing vast quantities of money that they could not possibly reasonably spend within a human lifetime, definitely seize that, redistribute it. They don't need it. Or better yet, stop existing in a capitalist system, but that's a bit of a big ask. But like in this situation, where you're trying to make life easier for people in this one specific location, asking the merchants to be kinder to the poor is a better option, I think, than just stealing from them. Esclad Tainer has been held in the Adessa prison for weeks just for stealing a loaf of bread and have forbidden us from speaking with him. Hold on. That sentence doesn't actually structurally make any sense. And who have forbidden us from speaking with him? Who is us? I mean, that's probably not relevant, but that'll be explained by whoever has posted this message. And have forbidden us from speaking with him. Who? Please, someone deliver this letter of our love and well wishes to him in the prison without attracting the Praetorians. Ablier will see to a reward. It's Ablier mentioned again, eh? Though the long road enjoys independence from the jurisdiction of Adessa, it relies on divine... Oh, right, yes, okay. I read that already. I thought that accessing the board would just open up the last of the quests, because there was only one left. The gnomes have seized what little we could send to help the armies in Melsinshire, holding them in the armory. Destroy them all. If the beleaguered armies can't have them, no one can. Reward 150 gold. Well, I'm down for a bit of chaos. In an unjustly over-ordered world system. Oh yeah, there was someone up these stairs to talk to, wasn't there?
Yes.
These stairs? Oh no. I guess this is the last room that I hadn't explored. So I want the other door.
Yes.
It's remarkable how she can groan and also say yes politely at the same time. She ventriloquist capable of double speaking. Oh hey, welcome, Mohawkman. Not sure I did this one. Fair enough. There's a lot of stuff to do in the game, in fairness. Odd to have any kind of a meeting in a bedroom. That's a little bit suspicious. Particularly any kind of a business kind of meeting.
Well, after all that effort I put into my letter, looks like I've got a nibble. Many welcomes. I won't waste your time. You want to know who's watching you in this city? Then help me out. The gnomes built this place for their achievements. Don't mistake that. If you're valuable to them, you're in. And if you're not, you're out of luck. The gnomes gave us the quarters and told us it was this or the wastes, so we had to make it work. I had to make it work.
You're dressed awfully poshly for someone who's keeping the other people here in the state that they are. Well, in Melsinshire, people are considered well off if they have personal quarters at all.
I knew a thing or two about keeping coins. Didn't take long for me to earn more than any of these poor sods could hope. Gnomes didn't like that. Let's just say I had my ear to the ground and learned that someone important was staying in Sandstone Villa. Someone of means.
Someone capable of incredible violence.
Aye? Well, let's tend to the work set before us, and then I'll tell you how to get in contact with the observers of Sandstone Villa. I admit I tend to run things for the humans in Alfar and Adessa, but the gnomes know well enough to keep us segregated. They house us, clothe us, feed us, but they never planned on keeping a bunch of refugees on their coin in their buildings. So they keep things bad enough to hope we'll leave, and we can't do anything to improve our station. You, however, can.
Sounds good. Who do I need to punch?
The gnomes have a saying. The one that bears leadership does so on a gilded throne. I run things in these quarters. To do so at my best, I need to make sure I'm provided for. So I've done just that.
Seems like a bit of an excuse just to be extravagant to me, but okay.
The gnomes are planners. They plan their cities like they plan their days and lives, with no room for error. So when the unwashed masses fleeing war and drought and famine arrive on their doorstep, they make a few new laws. We receive aid in return for staying out of the way. But the minute they put you differently from us, they put you in a position to act on our behalf.
Melsinshire is huge, but most of it's a wreck. We're not in Melsinshire just yet. We're still in Adessa.
I'm a man of sizable wealth. Maybe not all the gnomes are interested in coin, but enough of them are. When I heard that Sandstone Villa was being reserved, I had to know why. As it turns out, it was for you.
Indeed, aren't I special?
Good. There are a couple of more pressing concerns that we've had to deal with lately. They're spelled out on the petition wall in the main hall. Attend to them, and then we'll see about helping you.
Ah, okay, so this just was going to direct me to the petitions.
There's a board in the quarters where the people make petitions to improve things around here. Ablier keeps the board. Speak with him if you have more questions. So long.
Where's this person? Oh, right, okay. Bit awkward that I've already taken that quest. All those quests from here, so the... The quest marker is superfluous and probably won't go away until... Well, maybe until I've completed all of the quests for these people, but... Huh, Adessa Mine. I don't think I went down here yet. I don't think I've been down here yet. So I've got to destroy the contraband, speak with merchants, speak with Templar Jorel, and deliver the letter.
What?
I wonder whether I'm allowed in the mine. I am. That's a surprise. I wonder if I'm gonna meet someone in here. All that there seems to be is some bear traps. Chests. I have a suspicion that this place exists just so that your character can meet someone in here. And maybe it's big enough that you'll need to fight your way out again. because they take exception to something that you do or refuse to do. Good. I'm glad that we're not being asked to unlock minecarts that have open tops. That would be a little bit much. Doesn't seem like Adessa mine sees that much use. Wow, how did that rat have a Silver Knight greatsword on it? Wait, was it keeping the greatsword? Pair of traps here. Kobolds. Ah, we might be asked to clear the mine of kobolds. As a request from someone. Game likes putting traps right in front of objects that you can go and interact with, doesn't it? Just a chicken in a cage here, hanging out. When you look at it, it looks like it's supposed to be... Oops, damn it. Forgot about them. When you look at it, it looks like it's supposed to be a false wall hiding a room, but on the far side of the false wall is a real wall. Glass wall. But at the part of Melsenshire it is kind of... But the part of Melsenshire is kind of just there and feels incomplete in general. I'll have to have a look next time. Well, when I get to Melsenshire to see what you mean. But I believe you.
Enter at your own risk.
Yeah, I did. Oh, hello. This guy is just hovering about. Doesn't need to bend his legs to go upstairs. Very impressive. Just armory. Oh, I'm not allowed in here. Alright. I'll just hang out behind this gnome. And wait until he stops being aware of me. Which he doesn't seem to be willing to. Oops. Alright. He's completely aware of me. Alright, let's save before we try anything stupid. Nothing to see here. You don't need to worry about it. Ah, bollocks.
Intruder! Guards!
Alright. This guy's have good vision. Well, it seems like it. But actually they don't care if you go in. Okay, so I can lose his sight just by standing here, and then I can go in. Okay. So I actually want to be going in here. And he is completely unaware. Oh, no. I don't know how to get out of this. Oh! He turned away from me. And lost track of me.
You shouldn't be in here.
Alright, what happens? Wow, that's amazing, game. He just doesn't care. He has no shits to give. He's not paid enough to deal with a strange woman creeping about with glowing shit. That's not a part of his salary. Don't know how to get past this guy. Roll for it, I guess? Stealth in this game seems to be highly range dependent. Yep, it is very range dependent. Oh, I need to move. Now. There we go.
You don't belong in here.
I am absolute garbage when it comes to working out patrol routes and stuff, and keeping that squared in my head and working out where I need to be to avoid people. But thankfully, the game is not good enough that it matters. I've got my stealth high enough. I could be better at stealth. In fact, I could go and buy better stealth from a trainer in the city. And if I fail at this, that's what I'm going to do. And it would also be nice to have shadow prisms, but I don't know where I can get any.
And who are you?
Oops. So you have to wait until... It's interesting that these weapons in the cabinet aren't weapons that you can get. Like, you never get weapons that look like that. They're always larger, more complex, or ornate. Does dodge rolling cause you to break stealth? I think briefly, but it also means that you don't get you move a little bit more quickly. Gives you a little burst of speed. Wow, they were completely aware of me just then. And went back to not caring. Like, they are the least inquisitive beings. His awareness of me has spiked 2 or 3 times, and he just doesn't give a shit. He's not paid enough. Whoop, what the fuck was that? You did not roll the way I was looking. Or, no, you didn't lunge the way I was looking. What the fuck was that? That was not helpful. And why did it complete the strike animation? There wasn't a target to strike. Did it auto-target the pots and think that I wanted to destroy the pots with a lunge? Super inconsistent and annoying. Maybe I should take this opportunity to try and... Is he going to turn around? He's... let's try going this way. Awareness not risen. I can just follow around behind him. No problem. I don't really want to complicate things by just nicking everything that isn't nailed down. I'm just going to do the thing I'm here for and leave it. They're not facing this way, but this guy... Okay, I can get past. Good. Alright. That was way easier than it should have been. Thanks to the game's
Greetings.
bizarre rules for how stealth is decided. We've
Welcome
got the
to
second.
the garrison.
We've got the second chapter to find in here. Sparring arena. It's probably not where I need to be. No, it isn't. It's interesting that there is a sparring arena here and that we can access it. Or we appear to be able to access it. Wait, where's the thing? I assumed it was above me, but... Oh, right, of course, on the bookshelf. Second chapter of Gaelnan Hegem's memoirs on the construction of Adessa. There are many who, in the ease of silent quorums, hold that the presence of a Praetorian garrison is an affront to the principles Adessa was built for which Adessa was built would be more precise, more correct, but okay. To them, I say that the gates of knowledge must be fortified. What we have in the Librarium, what we hope to display with the prosperity of our new city, requires protection. It requires support. The garrison is not a house of war or a suppression or conflict. It is an instrument that our society can call upon to protect and further our knowledge. The structure is as important to the city as the Librarium, as melancholia is to the sanguine in the body. This is humours again. That's got no bearing on bodily health. Without it, our precious balance is upset. Once I have completed work on the garrison, I moved on to the constructions of the Adessa laboratories. Okay, we actually need to physically take that so that we can progress the quest. And it seems like nobody here cares, so that's nice too. Okay, yeah, so this is a more reasonable choice for a statue in front of windows than the sort of huge block that the statue plinth is on in the sandstone villa that we get given. Huh. What is the purpose of these halls? Is it just... Are they just here to look slightly cathedral-like? Oh, maybe this is a range for training. Okay. They obviously... Okay, first of all, they obviously don't go and retrieve their arrows at all. And second, what exactly are they doing to these arrows that they can drive them into solid stone? Point down at this kind of range. I mean, the guy who wrote this is more or less right. Adessa would have been looted by raiders long ago otherwise. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with him on that point. You do need protection in a city. Even if you've got lofty ideals and goals about everyone getting on perfectly to work together and solve problems, you still need to temper that idealism with some amount of cynicism, and take precautions.
What?
As unfortunate as that might be, it is necessary. Okay, and this is the bunkhouse. Wow, these beds are really nice compared with the beds that most Warsworn have to sleep on.
Yes.
I'm curious about the sparring arena. Wow, this place is huge. With a hidden door. They've got a Leonashi, and a rock troll. Interesting. Neither of which are hostile. Ooh, what's in there? Very hard, unlocked door. I'm curious about what is in there, but my suspicion is, given that it's only one... let's give it a shot. Let's use Prismir. Noble Signet. 60 health. Add that to junk. Alright. That is a very hard unlock for a black Kahosh. That's not worth it. I wonder why this place looks like Fey ruins. Alright. Oops. I assume I could let these out if I wanted. Huh, these are spike traps that are just set up along vertically. That's weird. Minashi is such weird creatures. Right, I thought we'd get to do some fighting, but without unlocking the doors you can't, and it doesn't seem like there's levers or anything to let them out with. Also, not gnome-sized beds. I call that an art error, but not all those who work here are gnome. It's neat stuff to look at, but this game has a lot of locations that really don't have any purpose. Well, I feel like places like the dorms do have a purpose. They make it feel like a complete world that is used. Like, I think that a building like this could actually have more apparently useless space in the form of some kind of kitchen. Like, if this is a garrison, it needs a huge kitchen and a mess hall for everyone to eat at. And, like, the presence of beds is nice and makes it feel like a lived-in space, like a place that people would actually use. But the absence of anywhere for people to eat or anywhere for people to shit actually detracts, in my opinion, and is kind of weird. And we have to find the third chapter in there. It's amazing how our character knows the location of things that they need to find with such unerring accuracy. Ooh, quests in here. Nice. Seems like we won't get done with Adessa today. We'll probably be still going through Adessa stuff next week. Compendium 5 and Gnome Nursery Rhyme. A colourful illustration accompanies the rhyme. Laz and Raz, the brothers grumble, as transcribed by Phineas Calidus. Laz and Raz, the brothers grumble, parents each and neither humble. They had no mind, the sons of Laz, no body to find, the maids of Raz. What each one knows the other has. We work together, they often mumble, but hate each other, the brothers grumble. Both lines born with such a plight, combined to wield lordly might, but battle at the merest slight. Their conflicts caused them both to tumble. Heed this from the brothers grumble. Oh, this is fancy. I mean, it's still a shared dorm, but
Yes?
you know what would also be nice is if this game had a place for people to wash themselves. I mean, there is a bath-looking thing in Sandstone Manor for the player character to use in this one place. Well, yes, it does make the world feel lived in. I was just saying that it's good to keep in mind when exploring that not all locations have quests. I headcanoned this quest as being the result of the guy who gave you the quest telling you where to look. Well, except that find the chapters of the architect's memoir. We picked up that quest by picking up the book. We didn't talk to anyone to get this quest. Another chapter from the memoirs of Gaelnan Hegum, the mason that oversaw the construction of Adessa. We just walked into the librarium, found a book on a table, and thought, that's interesting, I'll have off with that. And then discovered that it was composed of more than one volume, and decided to go around the city looking for the other volumes. And because we had the first volume, we intuitively, psychically knew where to find the next one. But though our city was born as a place to protect the knowledge that our great race had amassed in all its history, I was determined to ensure that our accumulation of knowledge would proceed, if not grow, once the city had been completed, and so I began construction of the laboratories. How curious it was to put up holes and doorways with the thought that this skeletal structure might one day house the minds that put an end to war, or make travel between great distances instantaneous, or make the moon shine as bright as the desert sun. It was humbling, yet it affirmed my resolve to construct a space of timeless experimentation. It is in this building that I have sheltered the creativity and ingenuity of our race, the qualities that set us apart from the others. Only on completing it did I know we would need as grand a building to foster our diplomacy, and so I set to work on creating the Domus Politica. I'll have off with that. Oh, there's another chapter. Okay. Oh, and there's alchemist lad here. Cool. I really love exploring. I know that this not every location will have quests and things to do in it, but I just love to explore and look at the spaces that are created. And in a game like this, in a world like this, I like to see places that make it feel like it actually is a lived-in space. It'd make more sense if you talked to the librarian and the librarian told you where to look, maybe with a note slipped into the book. This is my dagger. There are many like it, but this is mine. Yeah. What is this guy doing? He's hammering apparently quite a small nail into a section of timber that does not need it. This guy has mastered busy work, it seems. It's got quite a fancy hammer as well. Like, it's got brass fittings on it that are not needed for a workman's hammer like that. So he's just hammering, and he's going at it for quite a long time. So he's not hitting it very hard each time. This game is fun to explore. He is hammered. He could be hammered, I suppose, but he's just. Given the pitch of the sound and the fact that you can't see anything, it's got to be quite a thin nail. The pitch I'm talking about indicates to me, who has a very small amount of experience with nails and hammers and stuff, that the nail is quite thin. So he's got it well in the wood because he's not holding it. He's just got his hand near it. You can't really hold a nail between your two fingers like that. Not like you can between finger and thumb. So he's just got a nail there, and he's going at it in a place that the nail doesn't need to be. Like, it's not fixing anything to that strut of wood. And he's not driving it into the wood somehow.
Interesting. Taller than I would have thought. But still, you will serve as a subject. You are the guest at Sandstone Villa, correct? Otherwise, I'll have to look elsewhere.
Huh. Why are there no options to pick up the quest that he's obviously got for me?
This is a city built on principles. It is the gnomish ideal. Our plans, followed diligently by many workers to perfect harmony.
Oh, so I was just going to say, I really like it when a world has, like, you know, homes that you can go into that have places that people would sit and eat and be social, and places that they would sleep, and places they would prepare food, and places that they would, expel waste. So, I mean, WoW is actually quite good for this. Even though you can't go into a lot of the houses, there are a lot of spaces, like in the places you can enter, like inns and stuff. They have a kitchen and social spaces and bedrooms, and there are a lot of outhouses dotted about the place. You can't, for most of World of Warcraft, you can't interact with the outhouses at all, but there is an achievement during Warlords of Draenor for, in your garrison, going to and using the outhouse in the garrison. Completely pointless. It gives you a little achievement for having done it, but kind of hilarious, and it just makes the world feel lived in. Now, a place that WoW does fail is the castle in Stormwind. Like, it's just a couple of corridors and rooms. That's not a castle by any stretch of the imagination, and it does not either, by any stretch of the imagination, match up with the size of the building on the outside, unless you assume that most of it is filled in stonework for some reason. Like, in fact, in the castle in Stormwind, there are very few doors off of the corridors that you can access that would suggest that there was space outside of the places you can access. There are smaller castles like forts and towers and things that do have internal spaces that you can move around in. But they obviously failed somehow when they were recreating Stormwind after Cataclysm and adding to it. And I think, in fact, even during Classic, the castle in Stormwind was a bit weirdly small compared with its external size. So, I mean, there are places in WoW that are good and places that are bad. But I just really, really love it in games that have like an established world that you can explore, that have places that feel lived in, like there are people who use it instead of just kind of existing in corridors with no ability to sustain themselves or sleep.
Whispers have spread through town about the work done there. The work that involved a certain someone in present company. This experiment will conclude a decade's worth of study. It is to observe kinetic mana aggregation. I've collected a number of wild specimens from these lands at great expense. I wish you to fight them while I observe.
Oh, that's easy enough.
There are two reasons. First, you're not in the Hospitalis quarters, which means I can legally use you for a subject. Second, you were present at Alistar. Don't deny it. I've learned enough. You must have been exposed to powerful magic.
What's up with his eyes? They seem awfully pink, like almost bloodshot. Is he stoned, do you reckon?
Very good, very good. I'd like to get started immediately. Please meet me in my laboratory in the Adessa mine.
Ah, okay. So that's what happens in the Adessa mine. I knew we'd be fighting stuff in there, but this is different. This is new. This is not what I was expecting.
I've been a researcher in Adessa for so many years, I forgot when I began. It coincided with the start of my study, on the rise of magic.
The age of Adessa seems quite variable. Now, I was saying earlier that it was probably about 20 years old, but that seems to be wrong, and also remembering some other things about, like, suggestion that maybe several generations worth of miners had worked on the mines, but it doesn't seem like Adessa is that old. Like, it's probably about 100 years or less, thinking about it again. It seems like it's maybe a generation, so maybe about 50 years.
The grand proving ground of knowledge. Here, a researcher can make a claim, experiment with it, and follow its results all the way to the Basilica. If you aren't enjoying the sights of the walls, then have you seen the Arcadium or the markets? There might be more of use to you there. A private area for you to fight the specimens I've amassed for this experiment. When it is concluded, I promise that the rewards will be worthwhile. Now come, we must depart. So long.
Now come, we must depart. Walks away slowly. Yep, he's really invested in this.
Bloody chests.
I mean, I'm going to make him wait. I'm not going to go straight there. I've got other stuff to do. Like talk to Daidinar. You
look like you have some free time on your hands. Care to earn a bit of coin?
Sure, I'm always down to earn some coin.
It is truly a wondrous place. The work I've been able to accomplish that they've sponsored, truly marvelous.
Let me guess, earning coin will involve breaking something or killing something.
I'm responsible for going through vast amounts of experiment results and distilling them into concise data. With that, the Basilica Nostra can qualify our findings. We process all the data from experiments both housed internally and externally. Once compiled, we send it on to the Basilica Nostra. Uncatalogued tomes are stored and protected in warded containers. If you save me some time, I'll pay you well. All I need you to do is go to each container and dispel the ward on it. I'll pay you for each one you manage to dispel.
Okay.
Excellent. I'll have some brought up. They'll be in the upstairs alcove waiting for you.
I mean, I'll have a look at them and see which I think I can manage. And probably I'll reach a limit before I get to the end of them. But I'll come back and finish them off, like once I've completed the game, or at least once I've leveled up my skills to the point where they're maxed out.
You can find them upstairs. I'll pay you when you've dispelled some of them. A pleasure.
So, okay, it's this side. Oh no, wrong way. Stairs are on this side.
Excuse me?
You're excused. Okay. It's probably gonna be, yeah, easy. Okay, well, very easy, in fact. Nice. And we can't interact with them, presumably because they're just full of notes
Salutations.
that we won't care about. Okay, so presumably it will go very easy, medium, or average, hard, very hard, if it gets that far.
Have you done all the work you've wanted to? I see. I'll pay you for the containers you dispelled. Speak with me again if you want more work.
Alternatively, this might just be repeatable, where he just keeps giving you very easy dispellable chests to keep opening, where you can earn...
Good. You can find them in the same place. Speak to me when you've managed to do at least one.
Where you can earn 90 gold a time? That seems a bit like it's not worth the time. I mean, we'll have a look and see whether these are more difficult now, whether they go up in difficulty, and there definitely are only 3. Very easy. Okay. Okay. So if you're desperate for cash, and you're quite good at dispelling, or you really enjoy the minigame, I suppose, you can just come back. You can just do this over and over and over, and you earn 90 gold a go.
Have you done all the work you've wanted to? I see. I'll pay you for the containers you dispelled. Speak with me again if you want more work.
I don't, because...
I'm never going to get these blasted containers dispelled. Very well.
They're very easy.
A pleasure.
You don't need me to do it. You could do it with a long stick. Oh yeah, got a letter to deliver to some poor bugger who stole because he was desperately hungry and got arrested for it. He's super duper aware of me and isn't losing sight of me at all, and I don't really know. Oh, I guess I can come over here. No, he's still got sight of me. How could I probably don't even need to worry about being seen by the guard on the outside of the prison. Wow, his sight range is not dropping. Come on, he can't possibly see me. There we go. Welcome. What's that name? Victini 1989. Welcome. Yes, apparently he doesn't have any skill in dispelling. Despite the fact that I imagine he could probably find someone in Adessa to train him and... Oh, okay. You've got no chance of creeping up to the door without him seeing. But it seems like unlocking the door won't get you in trouble because it's not in red. He doesn't care. He's probably not going to care that I've gone in either. But do you need skill in dispelling if you get like a 10-foot pole and just push the lid up so as that anything that goes off when you open the chest goes off when you're at a safe distance? Okay, so I assume I need to sneak in here? Because I'm not supposed to be... Oh, let's save the game and just fucking leg it and see what happens.
Yes?
Oh, they don't care. Alright, that saves me from sneaking the entire way. Completely needlessly. Wonder why they bothered locking it.
What?
Wow, just on a dead body, on a skeleton in the prison, they've got the Oranus Mole. What's this? Oh, that's quite a lot of damage. This was the weapon of Gira Crowd, the Etin shaman who first united the giant clans of Gentilak. It was lost by the leader of the Oranus during the Colossae Uprising. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, this is a Jotun Rune Lord weapon. Now we've got two Jotun hammers. Nice. I mean, I don't really care about heavy weapons. I don't like using very slow speed weapons. I prefer average or fast. But a very nice addition to my collection.
Yes? What the hell are you doing here? If you're going to stand out there and gape at me, you're going to get us both in trouble.
Just visiting. I have a letter for you from people that care about you. Don't need to be so grumpy with me. I mean, I understand that you're in a pretty dire situation, but I'm a friendly face. Don't snap at a friendly face.
Bet it's a lovely city to be in for a gnome. For outsiders, it's a place of burden. They make it uncomfortable, so we might leave.
Yeah, that's a shitty thing to do.
I only stole a loaf of bread, and for that I'm sorry. But I've been in here for weeks.
Yeah, that's pretty unreasonable.
The gnomes like to think their city shouldn't need jails, but they'll use any excuse to throw one of us quarterlings in here. Just another Burke trying to scratch a living in this desert sand. But it's easier to survive out there than in this blasted city.
That's very odd. Burke is Cockney rhyming slang. It's short for Berkeley Hunt, which is rhyming slang for cunt. So Burke sounds like a sort of a jokey, chummy sort of a term, but it's short for rhyming slang for cunt. And so to hear a word like Burke in a world that doesn't have Cockneys or even London is super weird. It's even weirder than seeing biblical references like Babel and Lazarus.
Half-men bastards. They'll look for any reason to throw one of us outsides into this brig. They're trying to intimidate us. Really? I've been in here so long I thought they would have all forgotten about me.
Even your wife?
This means a lot to me. Thanks, mate.
You said it's only been a few weeks. How would you think that your wife would have forgotten about you after a couple of weeks? What kind of marriage do you have? I imagine that there will be some kind of traveler quest to break someone out.
Yes.
Like there was a traveler quest to break someone out of Helmgard Keep. I think the traveler settlement must be Moon Camp. Has a quest to break someone out of Helmgard. I wonder if there's a traveller camp over in Cluricon or Albastra. Probably be most likely to be at Cluricon, but I kind of doubt that you'd find them over there, given that it's a place that's entirely in war. Anyway, that was easy enough. I can't be bothered checking all of the NPCs in here to see whether any of them have names, and therefore would be most likely to be candidates for people to break out on behalf of the travellers. Destroy the crates! My greatest foe. My most hated nemesis. So, where else do we have? Someone to talk to over here. And hopefully I can sell my junk to them, because I have amassed quite a lot of junk by this point.
Care to browse? I can promise you'll always find the goods you need at Sembles. Care to browse?
Sure, I would like to browse your gold in exchange for my junk. Hurrah! What else do you have? Ooh, components. Illuminator's handle, what does that do? Damage to Niscaro, not that useful. Assailing bindings. Damage versus lightly wounded targets. Moonlight grips, that'll be damage during the night. Sunlight bindings, damage during the day. Improved piercing hilt. That's probably worth buying a few of. Expansive string. What does expansive do? Experience bonus. I think I'll leave that.
Please come by again. Plenty of shops in Adessa, but none as good as mine. Why not drop a few coin here? Weren't raised here, but it's home well enough. But the only place in Detir that doesn't feel like the wind will blow it away. Came here with my father more than a few years back. Poor Dad died a few years ago, and I just took up the business when he did. Been here since. Don't rightly got one type of stock here. I tend to sell all manner of things you might need while roaming the wastes. Share them with who? With... Oh, I see. It's not enough that I scrape out something for myself. You can't succeed in this city without someone coming to collect.
What? No, hold on. The wording of the quest that I picked up was convince them to sell their goods cheaper to people in the Quarterling. So basically other humans and Alfar and such. The wording of the quest was not... I mean, the name of the quest was Reshare the Wealth, but the wording of the body of the quest wasn't go and collect money from the merchant, the human merchants. It was convince them to give a discount to other humans so that life in Adessa was easier for non-gnomes.
Selfish, am I? I've worked hard for my money. Most of those loafers couldn't say the same. They only prey on others or beg for a living.
Well, how much choice do you imagine that they
Share
have?
them with who? With... Oh, Fine. Let's see my hard work feed beggars and vagrants. And why should they work when I can support them, right?
That's not how this
I'm
works.
not the only one losing money here. You'll be paying more than anyone else in my store, that's a promise.
Fine.
Please, come by again.
What?
Good thing I bought from her before,
Got the forge hot, stranger. If you need repair work for armor or weapons, I'm your man.
before I went that way.
I came here with nothing, but managed to build myself a nice slice of life. The gnomes even invest some money here. Was one of the wretches working for Motus Mining in Apatir. Got out before the sickness gods rest them, but I've been here for years now. Aye, a vile thing in Apatir. Spread like a cold, killed like a plague.
It was because Motus Mining dumped toxic chemicals into the water supply.
I can provide you with some smithing if you need. Repairs or salvaging, whatever's at hand. Aye, and I suppose you're here to preach the virtues of helping my lazy neighbours. More like buzzards.
They're not lazy. They just are not being given work by the gnomes. I mean, in my opinion, money isn't a problem in this game. Why I have 5 million gold currently. Yeah, it's a bit weird, like, your character could have several million gold by this point. In fact, mine does. She's got nearly 3 million. And you aren't given the option of giving your own money to the struggling humans and Alfar in the city. You go around to the merchants, and you don't even, like, so I was complaining about this just before, but the text of the body of the request was ask you to go and get the non-gnome merchants to give discounts. It wasn't saying go and collect money from them. I bet we'll also not be given the chance to hand out money to the poor workers individually. We'll go and give it to that rich fuck who's dressed himself up all pompous and got a nice room and everything, and he'll decide how to how best to distribute it, because that's how that should work.
I I've been there before. I know what life is like in the gutters. I'll pay my part, aye. But it's you that's more deserving, I think. Here's some coin.
Just accept you have become one of the 1%. I mean, I probably am one of the single wealthiest beings in this world. That is a bit of a tough thing to swallow, but like, you have to work within the system that the game gives you. Like, there is no system or ability within the game for you to redistribute your wealth. Very few games allow you to do that. And honestly, it kind of sucks.
Yes?
Another poor bugger to convince to...
Welcome to Seller's Emporium Alchemical. Gnomes seem skittish when you walk in, but I reckon it's a peculiarity of them.
You know, I'm kind of mad at them by this point.
It's a nice enough place if the gnomes take a shine to what you can do. I can make potions like their greatest, so I get to do trade in the Arcadium.
That's pretty good of the gnomes. I mean, they could just drive him out or not give him any custom, but the fact that they allow him to do business here is good.
I came to Adessa a few years back. Used to live up in Galette, in the Red Marches. A shame about what happened there, if what I hear is true.
Some crazy religious loonies burnt the whole place to the ground and killed everyone. Yep, that's true. And then I killed them, so justice.
I've wandered to Tyr nearly all my life. There's a trove of reagents that can save your life, if you know how to use them.
Cool. Great framing, game. Thanks. That's good.
Lunatic cultists took over and ruined the town. Someone put a stop to them, thankfully.
Yep. Me.
Yes, of course. Always thinking of the downtrodden. I guess I could lift the charity tax. I knew better than to think my prosperity would go unnoticed. It seems all my success helps others instead of myself.
We can improve lives.
A naive sentiment. We could change them, certainly. But only to make them more dependent on the charity of others.
That's not how this works.
I believe I will pass.
I believe you will not.
I knew better than to think my prosperity would go on. Well, I wouldn't want to find out what happens if I refuse. I'll make my donation to the poor box. You have my word. Guess I'll just raise my prices. Let's call it a charity tax.
No. Don't do that.
I'll be here.
Helping people who are in dire straits, who can barely buy food to not starve, does not make them lazy. And I hate that the game is putting that message out there and not allowing your character to do anything but become a thug and threaten them. Like, the persuasion didn't work the one time you were allowed to try, even though it was an 83% chance. What else have we got? Let's go and do this and then go back to there.
Yes?
I just want a game where you can become a socialist or a communist or an anarchist. And that isn't treated like you becoming the villain. Because it shouldn't be.
Ah, you have come. Splendid, splendid. We can get things underway. Oh, don't mind my specimens. I can assure you that they are heavily sedated, completely under control.
So how will you lift the sedation?
I've amassed quite the menagerie. I would like you to fight them. I've paced the study so that there will be a gradation of difficulty. Their sedatives should wear off presently. Now, I'll get to my observation area, and then the study can begin.
So you have sedated them with gradated strengths of sedative, or you sedated them at different times to mean that their sedatives will wear off in a particular order? That either requires a leap of faith or incredible amount of testing
So long.
on each of them individually. Now it's the troll. And that's the wrong button. Come on, come out the corner. Try and function with your arse full of dagger. Ugh, rat meat. Okay. No, this one. No, that's still rat meat. Okay, great, cool. Where is his... Oh, was it up there? I didn't really have a chance to check. But I expect his observation area was probably up there.
What? What? That's grand, isn't it? I can't wait to have this written up. I may get to speak in the Basilica Nostra. You did very well out there. Please, take these potions to heal any injuries sustained during the experiment. Thank you once again. So long.
I think I'll just sell them. It doesn't mean that I need to go through my inventory and list off these things as wanting them in junk. There we go.
Enter at your own risk.
Yep, I made the choice and decided it was
Yes?
probably not going to be that much of a risk, and indeed it turned out not to be.
So the scriptures of Mitharu have been handed to us. I too have been asked by Riddle to hand these words to the denizens of all that can help. The gnomes do not keep the faith of Mitharu. That much is enough for me. Mitharu is the great order of the world, who grants purpose and structure to all life. Mitharu and Reddelmane guide my work. Reddelmane has much, but he understands that he cannot enact the change that could help us without jeopardizing all of our safety.
Well, sometimes you got to take risks.
Esclantina is a troubled man, but many are those who need redemption. Though he may have wronged, he must not lose his spirit.
And really, it was only a tiny wrong.
Indeed. Mitharu smiles on a few, and it is their responsibility to share such providence. Your service will not go unrewarded. Though the gnomes are capable of greatness, Mitharu does not smile on those that take from the meek. You have restored them, and ourselves. It is one of sorts. It is a board of petitions made by those of the Hospitalis quarters. I keep it for the good of this place. Be pious.
Oh good, the marker is removed after talking to him. Is the layout of these spaces always the same and I just haven't memorized it yet? Or is it different? I've not been paying enough attention to notice. Alright, Shikeka. I'm here, I've done your jobs.
So, looks like you've done your share of the legwork, eh? Happy to pay someone that's dear to us. Take this coin. You've earned it. Now, I don't think there was anything else, was there?
Yep.
True enough. I honor the few promises I make. You're looking for a Templar. Joriel's the name, I believe.
I already knew that.
It's hard to track a Templar, but she has taken quite an interest in you. I hear she's doing some work in the Forum recently. That's your chance to find her.
So that was basically just a means of wasting my time and earning me a bit of gold. I suppose that wouldn't have been a waste, but didn't give me any new information about which Templars might be keeping their eyes on me.
She's a busy gnome, that Joriel. Whisperers are saying she's in the Basilica Nostra. It weren't easy to track her down. Either she's that busy or she doesn't want to be found. So you'd better move quick.
I expect she'll be
So long.
exactly where... Has he got any other stuff for me to do?
I don't rightly think we have much more business at this point. What are you jawing for?
Why is there a marker over him?
So long.
That's fucking weird. Yeah, I'll let you get to sleep. Game's obviously confused. Oh yeah, there's someone I can sell stuff to over here. Oh, she's hanging out, leaning against a wall next to the candles.
Well, it'd be a coin if you were looking for a mug of ale, but a rat ran off with the damn cork. Now the keg's spilled all over.
That's a shame. Sell junk. Hurrah.
Good.
Oh, that's interesting. The music on the outside matches up with the music you hear on the inside, only it sounds kind of muted. That's cool. Sometimes the inns in the world. No, I don't know. Didn't know until recently that you can actually upgrade Sunstone Villa. Can you? Because I was in there just earlier and I did not see any option to upgrade the place. Who do you need to speak to upgrade it? Got a couple of items in my inventory to put in my stash, so I'll head over there. I mean, maybe I should look up on the wiki. Oh yeah, it's there, isn't it? Oh, he's disappeared. That's interesting.
You.
Yep, me. You don't need to sound so disgusted by me. Oh, it's the other side, alright. There we go. What's the ring of Feragnos? Strange ring that seems to warm to the touch. Well, yes, objects do warm when you touch them. Maybe that should be seems to be warm to the touch. Inscribed in the band is the phrase, "In canyon's end, Feragnos sleeps and waits to rise again." Well, not anymore. We killed him. The guy who said you. Really? Because I spoke to him earlier and he didn't have an option to upgrade the place. I mean, I'll check again.
Milo, at your service.
This is Reckoning, by the way, not Re-Reckoning. So if that was added in Re-Reckoning, then it wouldn't be present in Reckoning.
You. Better make a move quickly. The longer these spies are watching, the more information they gain.
Finish this quest, kill him, and you'll be able to gain the deed to Sandstone Villa. Ah, okay. That's what it is. Yeah, I thought he'd probably be the one who was keeping tabs on me. That he was trying to... Like, he warned me that people were keeping tabs on me. Let's see whether I can...
Better make a move
no,
quickly.
I can't.
The longer these... Yeah, good hunting.
Milo, at your service.
I was going to see whether I could pickpocket him, but he's aware of me. I think you probably need to be... He moves around a bit too much for you to be able to sneak up on him, doesn't he? My stealth isn't that good. Stand still, you little bugger. Nothing to see here. No, alright, never mind. Yeah, I was hoping that I'd be able to pickpocket him and just take the deed. But that doesn't seem to be possible because
Milo, at your service.
I think you'd probably need to be at least at not maximum awareness, if not like minimum preferably, to pickpocket things. But he moves around too much for you to be able to hide, and I don't have any shadow prisms to distract him because I haven't really found a use for them that much. I mean, I guess this probably counts as an occasion that they'd be useful, but up to now I haven't really found any occasions when I really needed them. But good to know that completing the quest that involves him ends up with you owning the place, and that having done so, you are allowed to upgrade it. That's good to know. Thank you. But that's it. That's 3 hours. That's how long I play for. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll be back on Monday at 8 PM, well, roughly 8 PM GMT, for 3 hours, 8 to 11. You can find me on YouTube, where I upload recordings of all my streams. At Vanilla Jester Gaming, and on Twitter at Vanilla Jester. Luckily, I decided to follow the precepts of branding way before I ever needed a brand. I'll tweet just before I'm about to go live. So if you're not sure whether a stream is happening, check Twitter and that'll let you know. You can also reach out to me on Twitter if you feel like talking. That'd be cool. Or if there's a game you think I should check out, or I'd be down to play co-op with other people. There's a bunch of MMOs that I have a finger in, dipped a finger in, that I would happily play with other people, like Lord of the Rings Online, or I just got back into DDO, or Secret World Legends, or I play City of Heroes on Homecoming. But yeah, so I'll be back on Monday. As I said, I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I hope you've had a nice time. I hope to see you again. And I hope that you have a nice weekend. Goodbye.